Welcome everybody back to Rob's MetalWorks. We are out on the street tonight working it, yes, near the Paper Tiger, somewhere in the suburbs of downtown suburbs of San Antonio, and it brings me great pleasure to welcome one of my favorite bands here in the new year. It brings me great pleasure to welcome back to the show Mr. Blake Ibanez of the band Fugitive. Sir, welcome back.
Hey, thanks for having me. Great
to have you, man. Great to have you. We were talking off camera. It's been 6 years since you've been on the show.
Yeah, it's a long time. I feel like it wasn't that long ago, and then when I think about it more, I'm like, yeah, that definitely feels like a really long time ago. A lot's happened. So, yeah, glad to be back in San Antonio and at Paper Tiger. It's cool to finally be back here.
You know it's going to be crazy, man. We were talking already that there's a line outside in front of the club already, so I'm expecting it to get wild and crazy. It seems like that's just the way it is every time you throw down here in SA, so that's awesome. I want to say that I was especially really, because I follow you on social media, and I was especially really happy to see you kind of get back into music, especially publicly. I'm sure you stayed busy behind the scenes, but since the end of Power Trip, how long afterwards did you kind of feel like, hey, I need to kind of get back into music and kind of start something new?
I can't, it's kind of blurry because that all happened, with everything that happened with us sort of happened during COVID. So, at one point, were forced to stop playing, and then everybody wasn't playing. So, it's weird because I want to say it was like, it was probably, I can't even remember. Like COVID happened, we stopped playing, and then, all the shit that went down with us in the fall of 2020. And then I guess everybody started playing again, what was it, like 21 or something? So, it was definitely like a year, I think, maybe a little bit more. It's such a blur at this point, but, I was just kind of like sitting around, getting ideas, and, I wanted to do something else even while I was figuring everything else out. So, I think I want to say it was probably at least a year, but it might have been more than that. I've kind of lost track of time as how long COVID lasted and everything. So, yeah, I think it was everybody started playing again, and I was getting a lot of, I was just getting like, I want to get back up there. So, I think it just kind of came together like that, and then I
were you jamming with the Power Trip guys or with the Fugitive guys?
Yeah, the Power Trip guys, we still jam every now and then, but pretty much everybody in Fugitive lives in Fort Worth where I live. So, and they're all just friends of mine. So, I was just kind of sitting around with Seth, the singer, one day. I was like, we should just start a band, why not? And it just kind of worked really organically. Just started writing songs. They came really quick. And then Lincoln, he lives in my town too, a drummer. Mm-hmm. He plays in that band Creeping Death, and I didn't really know him that well, actually. We toured with them, but I knew he was a great drummer, so I just hit him up, and he was super stoked to get in the room and jam out some of these ideas. So kind of happened really organically and quickly once we had the idea.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. You mentioned something right now, and I've kind of been in tune with it. You said, I think initially when people hear Fugitive, they're like, oh yeah, it's kind of like the same kind of hardcore, kind of thrashy vibe. And I know that your roots, I remember from our last discussion, your roots are in hardcore, but yet you just mentioned that we're doing something a little bit different. So the real people who are in tune with music might be able to identify some of those little differences. And for those people who really can't see that, share a little bit about that with them. How is the music with Fugitive a little bit different than what we're doing with Power Trip?
It's definitely slower. It's not quite as fast. I wanted to play some slower stuff. I think Power Trip just kept getting faster and faster, which is awesome. But I definitely saw a lane for me to go down with the stuff I write that was a little bit different, like kind of the same as what I've always done. But I tune my guitar down a little bit, which I've never really done that. And I like that a lot because it just opened up some new ideas for me. And I was just able to go into some different areas I hadn't really touched on with Power Trip, and maybe stuff that I'm more into these days than I was back then. Definitely more rock and roll stuff going on that I've kind of, as I've gotten older, gotten a lot more into. But just getting to slow it down, get a little groovier. It's not that we didn't have that in Power Trip, but I think it was always like we were pushing it to go faster and faster. And this band's cool because I can go backwards and go to some tempos that I probably wouldn't have gone to in Power Trip. So it just opened up a lot of new possibilities, you know, different singer, different drummer. So it's like,
For sure.
you know, everybody adds a different thing to it. So it's cool. I like that it, you know, people can hear the similarities and hear that, you know, it's me writing it, but that it doesn't sound like a copy, or that it doesn't sound redundant or anything. I love that. So it seems like people have interpreted it that way.
That's cool. What I was about to say. I mean, you kind of got your own kind of vibe now, so people kind of know how you play, and you know that the opening track. We're going to talk about the EP right now, but the opening track, like Javelin, to me is like one of the exemplifies what you were just saying. Cool track. Yeah. Love that song.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. I was obviously going. I was, you know, I've always been inspired by Obituary and stuff, and I was like, you know, had these riffs, and I, you know, was trying to make it into a song, and then I was like, you know what, like, kind of like Redneck Stomp. It's like, you know, sometimes you just gotta let the riffs happen, and it doesn't really make sense to turn it into a song if you have this big intro. And
sure, it
worked out that way. People like it the way it is, you know. But it's so, I think people like it so much. I kind of wish it was a full song, but I think it's perfect the way it is. So yeah, that one's really fun. A lot of room to, you know, move around on that one.
Yeah. You released the your first official release, the EP called Maniac. Came out last August, right? Is that correct? Early last August?
Yeah.
So it's like almost going to be like we're getting close to almost a year. How do you kind of feel that record has kind of been received?
It's been great. I mean, I feel like the reception's been totally positive. People have been, it's cool. You know, I mean, I would, you know, I hadn't put out any music in a long time under anything I'd written. So like, obviously hasn't done anything with Power Trip in a long time, and been sitting on a lot of music. So you know, it felt good to get something out. People were very receptive, and you know, because you can work on music for a really long time by yourself and get in your head about what people are going to think about it. And, you know, I'm very hard on myself, obviously critical of myself when I'm writing, which I think is a good thing, but sometimes you can sort of get lost in it to where you lose the perspective of everybody else, which is people are just, you know, something I would have maybe written like 3 years ago, I think people would have been into, and now I'm in a whole different place and I know more about music and stuff. So it was really nice to get the reassurance, you know, once it came out that people were really into it, and it seemed like all the Power Trip fans were totally down with it. And no, it's been great. Yeah, I can't believe it's already been almost a year. That's wild. It sounds
killer, man. I heard that you produced it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I did. I kind of did the same thing I've always done on all the Power Trip stuff too, but you know, this time it was just me in there, you know. But I was definitely more involved, you know, working with Seth, you know, working through lyrics and phrasing and all that stuff, and helping with some songs and doing all that. So I would say even more involved than I've usually been in the past. But overall, it was the same thing I've done on all the records. I've always kind of been involved in every step of the way. So, but I wanted to put that because, you know, I feel like I can bring something to the table production-wise. You know, who knows? Maybe in the future I'll work with some other bands. But it definitely felt like all the way through, kind of doing my vision on this project. So yeah, I guess that's why I would say that I produced it in that sense. But yeah. Did
you guys record in Fort Worth?
Yeah, we did the drums in Austin, and then we did everything else in Fort Worth with our friend Rubio, who's an engineer. And yeah, we just kind of worked on it all last summer, and finally got it out in August, and it was just in time for our first show. So
did Rubio mixed it too, right?
Yeah.
Sounds great, man. Sounds great on the stereo.
Thank you. Yeah,
I kind of like recordings that aren't too pro, and then those that aren't too rough. Just right in the middle, man. Yeah, sounds great.
It's a tough line it's tough tightrope to walk because, you know, the modern listener has an expectation for what they want to hear and what sounds good and what sounds pro, and you know, you want it to get through to those people to where everybody can enjoy it, but you also don't want to go too far because we don't like when it goes too far either.
Yeah.
But I think there's a discrepancy between too pro and too shiny and just like really well recorded material, you know. So like a good example would be like, you know, like a Slayer South of Heaven or something, like a really well recorded album, you know, or like AC/DC Back in Black. You know, that's like it's very clear, crisp, very, you know, you could say it almost sounds polished, but it's not, you know, it's still organic. So you want to try to, you know, get somewhere in the middle of there. It's hard. It's really hard. So you can only hope that you pull it off, you know.
You quickly alluded to the fact that you and kind of Seth have been working on lyrics.
Yeah.
Can you share a little bit about just the lyrical, some of the lyrical themes of this record?
Yeah, I mean, he likes to just write about real stuff around him. So he was writing about where we live in Fort Worth, and like sort of some urban legends about Fort Worth, and play some of the streets and areas that he's used to going around, just living there for a while. Some of the rough areas, some of the parts of town that used to be kind of ridden with debauchery and crime and all that stuff. So just stuff that's like, I guess, real. I mean, nothing really, not a lot of fantasy, just things that have happened to him. And but I think we have a pretty good idea what we want in the lyrics to be like. It's tough because you don't want to, with metal, it's really easy to go into the corny territory and all that. We try to avoid that. I mean, it's always going to have some of that, but just try to keep it real if we can. I think that's the goal. Just keep it badass.
We worked a festival last week, and there were some Dallas bands there, and all the Dallas bands that we talked to said, "Oh yeah, man, we go to Fort Worth and play shows. We don't. Dallas is kind of going down the tubes, and Fort Worth is where it's at."
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. I mean, well, I think people there's not a lot of venues in Dallas right now. I mean, Nick actually books shows at this bar that we go to all the time. That's also a venue, and that's really one of the only cool places to play at this point. But it's a pretty small place, so there's just not a lot of places to play. And Deep Ellum is a bit of a shit show, so I think people like going to Fort Worth because it's chill and you can park, and it's like it's easier. And there is a venue there, Tulips, that does shows too. So there's just not a lot of places to play in Dallas lately.
Right,
so it's like I think people probably like going to Fort Worth for a change.
You guys did a cover track for the record, Bathory. Wow.
Yeah.
Raise the Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why'd you choose that track? I mean, obviously you could have done anything you want.
Yeah. I mean, it's just I think when I'm looking, I was looking to do a cover because we didn't want to write a bunch of songs for the first EP, just the first EP. You don't want to write all your songs. So we had 4, and I was like, let's do a 5th and kind of round it out. But let's do a cover. I've recorded a couple covers in my life, but I just thought it'd be something fun to do. And I think when I think about doing a cover song, you don't want to do a song that's like kind of everything's been done to it. I think that record is so primitive and just like caveman, such early, it's like so ahead of its time that obviously the recording is like very of its time too, and
Sure.
it's like it's raw and it's what everybody loves about it, but you could, I've heard other bands cover songs off that record, and when you take your own route with it and your own sound, you can really like bring something else to those songs in a cool way. And I thought I love that record, and I was trying to listen to other songs that'd be cool to cover, and I think it worked because we wanted to. I think that the tempo of the song was something we didn't really have on the rest of the EP, so I think it fit in nicely. And I just wanted to cover a song that you could do something else to, that wasn't, perfectly recorded, for lack of a better word. And obviously the recording is awesome for what it is, but you can tell it's hard to hear certain things. It's like you can kind of play the drums a little differently on certain parts. It's like you can bring something else to it. So I thought it was a cool song to do, and we all love Bathory, and just a simple, catchy song. So
And Seth could definitely pull it off.
Yeah,
He sounds great on that.
It was actually kind of, there were a couple parts that were sort of tricky to record on that one.
Yeah.
But no, he did a great job. I think his vocal style was cool on that song. So
You guys did your first show the month that the record came out.
Yeah.
And there in Dallas, Fort Worth, and I saw some of the video from it, and it was packed and crazy. It was like people were ready and had started consuming the record pretty quickly when it came out. And that was pretty reflective in obviously the success of your first show.
Oh yeah, the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we were kind of pressed for time because we didn't know if we were going to be able to get the recording done in time, but we managed to get it out like a week before the show, and I think it gave people some time to get excited about the show and the performance, and it kind of led right into we went to Vegas right after that and did a Psycho Las Vegas. So the timing was great, and it was cool, and it was a great show to be our first show, that Wrecking Ball Festival in Dallas, because it was just like, sold out at this venue, this newer venue in Dallas. It was like 1,000 people.
Yeah.
It's actually where Power Trip was supposed to play there right before the pandemic.
Yeah.
It got canceled because of COVID. So it was cool to, that was like the next show I was supposed to play. It didn't happen. Fast forward a few years and I'm playing there.
There
so
you go.
It was
In the
cool.
club.
Made it happen.
I was remiss not to mention too, but Maniac is on a label and it's getting distribution and obviously there's many different. I've read that there's many different types of formats that are available for the fans to pick up.
Yeah, I think it's out on everything now. It's
cassette, vinyl,
CD.
Yeah,
$20 spin. They did all the physical stuff, so I think everything's out by now. I think they just did another press of the record because the first press sold out. So that's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
So for all you people out there who have not yet downloaded the latest and the debut from Fugitive, go ahead and take a look at the cover work. It is called Maniac, 5-song EP. Be sure to look for it right after you finish watching this interview. It's out on all music media outlets. And jam it, man. And support Texas fucking metal. You guys are here in San Antonio, kind of like for the release show here in San Antonio. Fugitive's debut show here in San Antonio. What is the rest of this year kind of hold for the band? What do you want to do?
Well, we have 2 new songs coming out that are just about to be done recording. We were done recording them, but Rubio, who's mixing them, is on tour. So when they get back from tour, we'll wrap up the recording. So once that's done, that'll be done in a few weeks, and we filmed a video for one song.
Nice.
So that's gonna come out. Hopefully that'll all come out next month, probably
Wow.
mid-July or whenever it's done. So early mid-July, something like that would be ideal. So yeah, we're gonna put out a couple songs. That's probably gonna be a 7-inch or something, a 45. But we're just gonna put them online just because she wanted to put some new songs out. We needed more songs, for the set, and I had some good song ideas that came together really great. So we're playing those 2 songs tonight, and
nice.
That'll come out as soon as possible. And from there, we got some cool stuff in the fall. We got some cool shows in Dallas in August, and then we're going to LA at the end of July, Chicago, and then hopefully just keep playing in the fall and just keep writing. I'm already kind of writing more songs to probably do a full length or something next. So
Nice.
Just seeing where it takes us, but hopefully we get to play cool places. It's just been fun to go out of town with these guys and get back on stage. It's like it's kind of all new to me again. So I'm just appreciative and thankful that I can do this, and people care. So it's been really cool.
That's cool, man. Yeah. You mentioned a couple of things I think are pretty important in bands. Obviously on the back end, think about these things. So you said, Rob, we're going to release a couple of EPs, and there's some bands who that's what they do now. They kind of release EPs throughout the year. Then there's bands who are like, oh, we're going to do an EP, and then old schoolers or people who love a lot of music to be out will release a full length. Where do you kind of stand in that little?
I think it kind of depends on your pace and how you're approaching the band. For us, we haven't even been around for a year yet, so it's like, I'm not really rushing to do an LP, but you want to get more music out to people. I guess I think about it like, the way Power Trip did it. We did it a lot slower over a longer period of time, but it was like, we had a demo, then an EP, and then I think another EP, 2 EPs, and then a full length. So we took our time, but it's kind of how you want to approach it. If you want to hit the road immediately and try to get popular as soon as you can and do it all the time, then you should probably put out an LP as soon as you can to kind of get all the get all the press you can and get all the music out you can. But I'm a quality over quantity guy, so I would probably rather do a couple EPs and wait till the time is right, till everything's in position, and then do an LP, because you don't want to burn all your best songs too early in the game. You want, but like I said, it kind of depends on how you're trying to do things. So if we were trying to go full time right away and be on the road all the time, we'd probably need to get out a record sooner than later. So I got some other stuff going on and just trying to figure out what's happening with everything. So, but I think it makes sense to do, after these 2 songs, to probably do a full length, maybe another EP, but at this point, it's like, if I'm going to write like 4 or 5 more songs, I might as well just keep going and do a record. So I think with these 2 songs come out, people will be pretty excited.
People be happy for a little bit.
I think people will be stoked about these 2 new songs. So I think that'll hold us over for a little bit.
As we get near the end of this interview, Blake, I have to mention Power Trip. Obviously, you know, you guys had such a huge impact in the scene, kind of worldwide. I heard that there's a live record coming out, live in Seattle, and when will that be out?
I think it comes out actually in a couple weeks. It's like June 23rd, I think. So
yeah,
that finally coming out. It was like we put it out digitally during COVID, kind of as a way to offset, you know.
Sure.
And people liked it a lot. I think it turned out cool, and just never was we. You know, it took us a long time to figure out how to get it out physically. You know, we were still on this record label, and you know, ended up working it out to where they put it out. So,
sure.
Yeah, I'm glad it's finally getting out. I mean, you know, it's cool that it's a good document of that time.
Yeah.
You know, at that
was
band,
90, was that
Power Trip.
2008? Was that what that
The live
recording?
record?
Yeah, or 2018. I'm sorry.
2018. Yeah,
I'm
like,
sorry. You're
not that
I'm
old.
not that old.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2018.
Yeah, it was. I think it was 2018. Yeah, it was on.
Yeah.
It was on our our only headliner we did, which is crazy. It was that long ago, but yeah, it was like right in the middle of the tour. You know, we'd been touring so much, so it was like I feel like the band was kind of firing on all cylinders. So it's a great you know snapshot of that moment. Yeah, it's cool. It's finally coming out.
Did you at that time? Were you guys recording a lot of the shows?
Yeah, our sound guy at the time he was recording. I feel like most nights he would be recording.
That's cool.
He had his own board and
Yeah.
shit, so he would just kind of record them. And I think we had a few that we listened to when we were trying to figure out which one. And this one was kind of felt the best.
So it's not a combination, like the different songs, not a combination of many shows, just
No,
one straight
I'm
show.
pretty sure it's just one show. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I remember listening to it. Yeah, he mixed it and all that stuff. And worked on it, but I'm pretty sure it's just one show. I don't think he swapped anything out, you know.
Yeah.
So like we didn't go in the studio and overdub anything. So
yeah,
it's cool. I mean, it reminds me of that time. Listen to it, you know.
Yeah, I gotta ask you, man. Do you think that Power Trip will ever get back together?
I don't know. I mean, it's you know, I would say never say never. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, we all still talk and you know jam together sometimes, but you know, like. It's just one of those things like we don't want to force anything, you know, like if the right things happen. I mean, we got a lot of music and stuff, you know, we had another record that was, you know, musically written and recorded basically. So there's a lot of music, you know, we've worked on it here and there. And
There's recordings with Riley still?
No,
Okay,
no,
just-
no,
but the
nothing
music.
with him. Yeah, we were writing the songs when he was still around. I mean, he not any lyrics or anything, but you know, he was sending him all the demos and stuff. He was super stoked about it. So, no, the music's awesome, and it definitely sounds like the next Power Trip record. But you know, we just got to make it happen the right way. I mean, you know, we all love that band. We're very proud of it, and we all would love to play again. You know, there's a lot of people that never got to see us. A lot of younger people that I've met over the last few years, like I never got to see you guys, and we played so much, it's kind of hard to believe, but, you know, people are, you know, it's been years, and there's people that were kids that are in college now, you know, they just never got to see us. So, you know, I'd love to be able to play all that stuff and put out new stuff eventually, but, you know, it's just got to be the right thing. And, you know, when that time comes, it'll happen. But, you know, obviously I'm not retiring anytime soon, but you know, we have a lot of, you know, pride in what we've done. And I know what the standard for that band is, same thing as this band. So it's like, you know, I'm not going to do anything that, you know, isn't the right thing and isn't right for the fans and for the legacy. I would never do that. I don't think any of us would do that just to, you know, get out there. That's not our style. So, you know, when the time's right, which, you know, could be soon, could be, you know, who knows when, but, you know, when the time's right, I'm sure we'll make it happen, but it's just kind of like, I can't say for certain. I don't know, but I hope so, you know.
It kind of reminds me of like the Pantera thing. Like you have all these young cats who are saying, I never got to see Pantera, and now I can go check out those songs live. Yeah.
I mean, you know, it would be really great to be able to, we were jamming some of the songs at Soundcheck. So, you know, I mean, they're still great, you know, it's people still love all that stuff. So I would love to be able to get out there and play them again, but, you know, not really a lot to share on that front currently. Yeah.
I know that too.
Yeah.
But you know, I had to ask people to say,
That's
like,
right.
why did you ask?
Yeah.
Anyway, you still rocking that black offset Jackson?
Yeah, I have a few different guitars I like playing, but live, that's sort of just old faithful, you know.
I remember last time we chatted, you told me like, Rob, I'm gonna have some people work on it or like modify it or something like that. Was that?
I've pretty much been playing that guitar for a while.
Yeah.
I just am comfortable on it.
Yeah.
I've been playing on it for so long, and it has a Floyd Rose, which stays in tune
Yeah,
really well. I have other guitars. I play a Les Paul at home all the time that I love playing on, but it doesn't have a Floyd Rose on it, so I can't really do all the lead stuff.
Yeah.
And then I have a Gibson V that I love that has a Kaler on it. The Kaler just won't fucking stay in tune. So I love the guitar, but it's just they designed that device. It's just like you can't rip on it and wail on it like you can with a Floyd. So I mean it'll stay in tune okay. But yeah, I would love to play the guitar live. I don't want to think about that when I'm playing. So
to me, when I think about you, the Jackson is that's like that's your look, man.
It's like
that's your signature look.
When it comes to playing live, I just want to be comfortable. I don't want to think about tuning or new guitar. I just want to be comfortable. And when I play that black one, that's just like it just reminds me of hundreds of shows with Power Trip and just being comfortable on it. So I want to get up there and just not even think about anything other than just the show. So so I still play that one.
Blake, thank you so much, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
I appreciate your time and effort, and
appreciate you guys
for chatting with us. Any last words? Anything I missed about Fugitive or anything with you with the people around the world who will watch this interview?
I don't think so. I covered it. We just look out for some new stuff coming out next month or so, and we're gonna keep playing and hopefully hit all the spots. If you're in Japan and you want to book us, send me an email. Looking to go back to Japan ASAP.
Why do you like Japan? Is it the cool people?
What do I not like about Japan?
Exactly. The noodles or what?
The food. The record shopping.
Chicks. Cool chicks. Yeah, Japanese chicks are cool, right, JB?
I'm sure they're really cool. Yeah, I don't
toys.
know.
I like toys, man.
Yeah.
They have a lot of cool toys.
The people are really nice. It's like it's just a really cool place. So, but there's a lot of great places in the world. It's just that's a fun place to just fly to and play a couple shows and come back. Cool. So, Japan, hit me up.
Cool, man. Thanks so much, Blake.
Yeah, thank you.
Remember, everyone out there, you saw the man Blake Ibanez right here on the program. The band is called Fugitive. Go look for the Maniac EP right now. You saw the band only right here on Rob's MetalWorks.